So it's a little hard to speak because speaking, we feel so at one with all of you, and speaking implies a distance, and it's nicer just to meditate together. But I'll take us on a little journey through the history of our center here, of Master Center, past, present, and future. I think the beginning of this center actually began in 1948 when a young man in New York read Autobiography of a Yogi. And that book came alive to him, and it answered all the questions he'd been asking his whole life that no one could answer. Scientists couldn't answer, people of religion couldn't answer, philosophers couldn't answer, artists. And he was beginning to despair. And then J. Donald Walters, who became our Swamiji, Swami Kriyananda, as if by chance, found Autobiography of a Yogi in a bookstore in New York City. And he took that book, and before he even read it, as he held it to his heart, he said, I knew I had found the truest friend I had ever known in my life. And then he went back to the room he was staying in, and he read that book nonstop in several days period. And then he, without any introduction, without any planning, he packed up the few little belongings that he had, and he took a bus all the way across America for 3 days. And after going to different places, he found himself kneeling at Yoganandaji's feet, and he said, I want to be your disciple. And that was September 12th, 1948, so 68 years ago. And from that, Master could see in Swamiji, this is one who understands my mission. This is one I will empower to complete my mission, bring it forth. And Master told him, you have a great work to do. And Swami said, I didn't take it as a compliment. I took it as a marching orders. And so it was. And then the years went by, and Swamiji began teaching and in America, and everywhere he went, such was the power of his attunement with God that everywhere he went, he left those vibrations. We just got, jumping way ahead in the story, we just got an email this morning from the people who run the Ananda Center in Los Angeles, California. And we lived there with Swamiji for some months. In 2009, he wanted to start a center there. We have a very nice center. But there was a nice little residential area that Swami used to like to walk in because it was level and had some nice little shops he liked to look in. And he would go there regularly. We would walk with him just for him to take a little exercise. So just this morning we got an email and some beautiful pictures. Even though we have a nice center in Los Angeles, the couple who are running it said, we found a little room right near that was available for rent, right near where Swami used to walk. So we've opened just one little room where people can come and meditate. That happened this morning in America. And so Swami began teaching, and the depth of his attunement with Master, I go like this because it's like I saw it happen. He would be present, and it was like he would put down roots into the ground of divine consciousness. And he spoke in the San Francisco area. We have a beautiful community there now. He spoke in the Sacramento, California area. Beautiful community exists there now. Up and down the West Coast he spoke. And everywhere he went, his vibration, the vibration of our master, remained. And people came and they said, we will build a center here, even though Swami isn't here anymore, because he left something of God there. And then we move a little bit forward, 2003, Swami decided to move to India. And maybe some of you don't know this story, how it happened. At the time, Devarshi and Jyotish and I were working in our Sangha office, the Worldwide Sangha office, and Devarshi received a letter, an email from someone just writing into the organization. And it was a letter from two people living up in Delhi. And they were disciples of Master. And they said, Master's work could use so much help here. It just needs vibrancy, it needs energy, it needs people with vision. And Devarshi brought this letter in and he showed it to Jyotish and to me. And Swami was in Assisi, Italy at the time. And we said, should we send this letter to Swami? I don't know. We don't know who these people are. And then we said, yes, I think he would want to see this letter. So we sent it off to him. Within 24 hours, Swami responded, we are starting a work in India. Come to Assisi, join me, and then we will go to India. And so we were there in Assisi where Swami lectured in Italy. Beautiful community exists there now. And we were there with him. Maybe some of you have heard us tell this story. So you think, okay, Anand is going to start a work in India. We need to plan and we need to figure out where we're going to be and plan a strategy and a publicity campaign and a tour. None of that happened. Swami was packing the night before. We were helping him pack to come. And it was like a little boy who was going to summer camp. What do I want to take? Oh, I like that pillow. And he put that in a suitcase. And, oh, I like that picture of Master. And he put it in a suitcase. And just little things. I mean, it was so without any forethought. It was just doing Master's will. And here he came. And as Jai and the others know, he lectured. And wherever he lectured, Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, and finally Chennai, those roots were put down. And in January 2013, just a few months before he left the body, he had that big lecture here that others have spoken of. And then Dharmarajan and Dharmini were able to come in June, I believe, 2013. And they began the work here. But Jyotish and I have been coming now for about 3 years. And every time we come, and I can't explain it, but we feel our hearts are so touched and so opened. And we see, it says in the scriptures that all of Krishna's soldiers look like Krishna. And I say all of Master's children look like Master, because I see in all your eyes, I see that humility and that selflessness and that inwardness and that joy and that peace and that devotion. And we feel so blessed to just be here with you. And last year when we were here, we're moving forward in the storyline, Dharmarajan and Dharmini showed us, they took us to this building. So this was February. It wasn't last year, it was February of this year. Oh my goodness. And they said, what do you think? And this is a house of Sharmila's family, and we think we can make this into a nice center. And it was pretty run down at that time, but you could see the potential. And we said, that would be wonderful. And then we looked at each other and we said, maybe we can dedicate it when we come back in October. And I mean, it seemed like an impossible dream, but you dream. But now we came a week ago. And honestly, I have to say sincerely, this week has been one of the most memorable, inspiring weeks of my life to watch what you all have done. So many of the people were here constantly, throughout the day, late into the night. And because this was really a work zone when we came here a week ago. No carpet, this was all concrete, not finished painting, none of the plants outside, the floor. I won't go into all the detail. But we would see all of you here. And I have to say, one of the people, most of all, who was honored earlier, and I know it embarrassed her, so I won't say her name, but just to see, and every time we'd see, everyone was so joyful, never ending. And then we began, the day after we arrived, we said, well, should we start having morning sadhana here? And we said, why not? And so we had to move from room to room because it wasn't finished yet. But so we started meditating and doing our practices. And then to bring us up to the present, just this morning, when we were energizing outside as the sun was coming up, these two men came. And they brought these great big banana trees. And I thought, what's going on? And it was, around 6:30 in the morning. And they were lashing them up to poles, and there they were, these huge banana trees that weren't there yesterday. And I didn't understand. But then my friend Kartik explained to me, and I thought, what a perfect symbol. He said the banana tree is considered sacred in my culture, he was saying, because for many reasons. First of all, every part of it is used. So it's just totally giving itself, not saying I'm keeping this for myself. And I thought that these banana trees are like symbols of our guru. But then it goes on, because Master didn't hold anything back, gave everything, and all of his disciples, I see, do the same. But then the fruit of the banana, unlike most fruits, doesn't have seeds that will germinate the next plant. And the way the banana tree, you maybe know this, to me it was a marvelous thought, the way the banana tree propagates is it sends out new shoots. And so I thought, Master is the banana tree, and that shoot, the main shoot that he sent out, was Swamiji. And then all of us are little shoots coming off of that. But then what's most important, and Kartik explained this to me, that part of the reason the banana tree is considered so sacred is the fruit, because it has no seeds, it's symbolic of the soul without karma, the soul that is free, no more incarnations. It's not going to put it down any more roots, it's not going to have more little bananas from that fruit. And that's all of us. And that's Master's gift to us. He didn't come just to teach us meditation. He didn't come just for the example of his own radiant being. He came for our freedom. He came so that we could find God. That's why he said the time for knowing God has come. And not one word came from his lips that was idle. Every word was true, and every word had power. And so for each of us, just as those little bananas growing, let's remember that. With God's grace, Guru's blessings, this can be the life we find God together. And I think as we travel around the world and we meet friends of not just of this life, but of past lives too, because there's an immediate friendship. Let's create through this center a beautiful plant that all who come take hope and say, I too can change my life. I too can find freedom in this life. And this center will be a beautiful garden that those fruits of the banana tree can grow and come into full expression. So, with deep gratitude for everything you've done. And I'm so glad we're not leaving just yet. We have still a week to be here after this. Thank you, and God bless you. And may Master guide all of us to true soul freedom.